Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. And for the weather warnings, as we do have thunderstorm warnings issued in Scotland in a few regions, as we're going to see some very heavy rain and some thundery showers breaking out around the centre of the low, which is now positioned in Scotland. The reason why the warnings are issued here is because near the centre of the low, these showers are much slower in moving, so it means we could see higher impacts as we do see those storms linger in single areas for longer periods of time. As I have a look at the UKV over the next 5 days, you'll be able to see there are plenty of showers around as low pressure is moving in. And low pressure is coming in from the north and the west, so the air mass is going to be colder than it has been recently. Nothing abysmal, but temperatures into the mid to high teens quite widely, maybe just about getting into the 20s in a few spots further southwards and eastwards. Into the longer range, we do still have quite a bit of confusion in the models, but there is sort of oscillating patterns between potentially seeing some higher pressure at times, but also some quite deep low pressure systems. And even the GEM today, towards this sort of day 8, day 9, day 10 point, produces a really vicious low pressure system, a proper autumnal low moving in for the first few days of September that would bring some very unsettled and stormy weather as the jet stream does really power up. So we'll have a look at that in detail in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So to start on the live radar, you can see where we're seeing frequent showers at the moment. First down into the southwest, where a few heavy thundery showers are breaking out, and then the core of these showers, and it's quite widespread. Very few areas across the southwest are actually dodging this. But if you move further northwards and eastwards, from much of England and Wales, avoiding this rainfall with more sunshine breaking out. A few heavy thundery showers into the northwest, up towards northern England, for the most frequent showers across parts of the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and of course parts of Scotland, where we do have thunderstorm warnings issued that we'll have a look at it in a minute. And you can see where we're seeing these frequent heavy showers, and they are very slow moving here, because they are wrapping around the centre of the low, dropping quite a bit of rainfall over the coming hours, with one of the thunderstorm warnings even lasting into tomorrow. Now, because of the northwesterly wind, the air mass is a lot cooler. You can see across much of northern and western Europe, all that hot air has been pushed away. We were seeing temperatures into the mid to high 30s, if not touching 40 degrees in many parts of France over the last week. But now many areas, maybe max mid to high 20s in the UK, max low 20s in the Far East, with most areas into the teens. So much cooler air mass moving in. Many more people will probably enjoy it. It's not quite as humid, but unfortunately, if you are a fan of the summery weather with above average temperatures, not looking likely in the near future. If you go over to the weather warnings, you can see 2 thunderstorm warnings issued in quite small areas in the north of Scotland. One just to the east of the central belt, through parts of Edinburgh, down into the southeast here. From 3 p.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow, heavy showers and thunderstorms may lead to some travel disruption, some flooding and travel disruption. Again, the main risk here is because they are slow moving in places, leading to hourly rainfall accumulations of 10 to 20 millimetres. That's the main risk here, high likelihood lower end of the impact, and they could ease through mid-evening, but they'll become more widespread overnight. But again, heavy showers and a few thunderstorms. So I do think the rainfall is the main issue here. And a warning for Inverness and parts of northern and eastern Scotland into the Aberdeenshire area from midday today until 8 p.m. tomorrow, again because they are slow moving in places, again 10 to 20 millimetres, maybe as high as 30 to 40 millimetres in a few hours. High likelihood, lower end of the impact matrix. So if you go over to the UKV, you'll be able to look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. And you can see the precipitation in the north at the moment, quite heavy thundery showers breaking out through the rest of the afternoon. They will progress eastwards, so even those southeastern parts of England that are avoiding them at the moment could see a few showers through the evening, but they are dissipating in size and intensity. Showers do get going still in that warning area overnight and for perhaps parts of Wales, and then slowly into Saturday afternoon. Another day of sunshine and showers with a few thunderstorms dotted here or there. No huge pinpoint areas, maybe parts of southern Republic of Ireland, but most other areas it's just generally scattered. You may be lucky and you miss them, you may be unlucky and you may get hit by them. As we progress into Sunday, a weather front is pushing in from the west, so more low pressure in from the west, but it's a pretty weak weather front, so we're seeing some heavy showers ahead of it, and then in the west, just some thick cloud and on and off rain as that weather front does dissipate, and it spreads eastwards into the early hours of Monday, just giving some cloud and some drizzly rain in a few spots, but generally Monday's a pretty pleasant day, just a little bit cooler with a westerly flow. Into Tuesday, more active weather system moves in. That could bring a bit more of a washout day. Doesn't look too heavy though, with most of the rainfall light to moderate in intensity, and that will eventually spread southwards and eastwards. So you see a much stronger westerly flows coming in. Nothing ridiculous at this stage, but nowhere near sort of as decent as this past week has been. It's going to be quite a bit more autumnal next week. And you can see the air masses are going to be oscillating between cool, see the weekend about average or maybe slightly below average, then a warmer sector moving in into Monday, that warmer sector clears and a cooler sector will be moving in for Wednesday. So oscillating between air masses, the temperatures may be slightly up and down. Of course, when we see the warmer air masses, it's normally associated with higher humidity, higher cloud amounts and higher rainfall, so we always have to take that into account. If you look at the max temperatures, you can see today just about touching 20 or 21 in the east. Still a bit of lingering humidity there, but most areas are back into sort of autumn or late summer conditions in the mid to high teens. Into Saturday, pretty similar conditions. Again, could just about touch 20 to 22, but again, it'll be dependent on those showers. Most other areas mid to high teens. Into Sunday, once again, could just about get to 21 or 23, so slightly higher, but still many areas in the mid to high teens, or even low teens across parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland. Into Monday, again, could see a 21 or 22 across England, but most other areas mid to high teens. And finally, into Tuesday afternoon, again, could see a 22 in the east, but further westwards with cooler Atlantic air moving in. Mid-teens, low teens across parts of Wales, maybe high teens elsewhere. So it isn't going to be great over the next 5 days. It's not going to be abysmal, but we're not going to be seeing anything particularly warm or dry. There will be dry weather around if you're lucky, but most days are going to have the risk of rainfall, either in the form of heavy thundery showers in the next couple of days or some frontal rainfall as we head into next week. So do now have a look at the longer range. You can see from the latest GFS, we have got this low pressure system sat over the top of us. It's quite weak, and that's why we're really only seeing heavy showers break out. Into next week, we see more of a westerly flow, but still relatively weak low pressure systems moving in, and that's why the rainfall doesn't look too intense at this stage. Into the longer term, we could see the jet stream activate a bit more. An ex-tropical system moves in across northeast Canada, providing more energy, but a lot of that energy does head further northwards for eventually breaking through in the longer term, giving us some more unsettled conditions, but still the strongest lows stay away, and even here towards the right at the end of the run, we do see a relatively strong low down, so 990 millibars there, but mainly impacting northern areas with some high pressure around. So not too bad, but not great either. Plenty of low pressure moving in and plenty of westerly winds oscillating cool and warm sectors. Now, after you finish, have a look at the GM and the ECMWF. As I said, the GM does go really unsettled at day 10. You can see oscillating between some weaker lows and some high pressure over the coming days. But as we're towards day 10, all that energy from that ex-tropical system heads to the UK. And look at that, a really strong low pressure system, down to 965 millibars towards the centre of this low, down to 966 there, extremely strong. The 10-metre winds are ridiculous. You can see here getting up to sort of 40, maybe 50 knots, and that's sustained winds. So we're looking at 70 or 80 mile per hour gusts associated with that. And of course, precipitation would be plentiful with real heavy rain around. You can see quite warm air does get wrapped into it for a time because of its ex-tropical nature, but it is a really quite severe low pressure system there. Streamlines just showing the strength of those winds, and you can see the jet stream roaring off the Atlantic. It is one run, but this is the sort of pattern we could be seeing with a westerly flow prevailing and with that added energy from ex-tropical storms and hurricanes. If you finish, as I said, looking at the ECMWF, see if that shows something similar. Again, weaker lows over the coming days. As we head towards day 10, we see that ex-tropical system arriving in around sort of 5-6 days' time. And as it moves in, we do see that very strong low move in. But fortunately here, the centre of the lows up towards Iceland. So it would be Still gusty, still be some rain in the north, but further southwards shouldn't be too impactful, with the main low staying off to the north. And you can see the jet stream associated with this is a little bit further northwards, a few hundred miles further northwards, meaning that low is trapped towards Iceland instead of carving through parts of Scotland. Very interesting. You need to keep a very close eye on that at day 10, as that would be arriving into the first few days of September. Now, finally, if we finish by having a look at the Ensembles, latest GFS, not great, generally average to below average, maybe spiking above average at a few moments, but generally unsettled and pretty cool. Some warmer runs appearing here or there, but really nothing with any substance, and I said lots of precipitation. The sea level pressure isn't massively low, but there's no real signs of any major high. Again, most of the sea level pressure here, mean sea level pressure for most of these runs is about 1,015 millibars and lower. That's sort of that's not really high pressure. That's not really really deep low either, but that's sort of the maximum we're seeing, with most lower than that down to 1,010, decreasing, which is getting towards weak low pressure systems. And you can see into the early September some very strong lows appearing there, and you'd expect, looking at Glasgow, even more stronger lows again. Let's keep a very close eye on that in the longer term. The humidity temperatures in London, again, not great, looking widely high teens, maybe just about into the low 20s on some warmer days with a warmer sector, but still nothing great. Definitely a good few degrees down on what we've had in the past week or so. And finally, looking at the ECMWF ensembles, a bit more of a warm-up in the longer term into early September, but no real signs of any dry weather, so it's probably just warmer air masses associated with stronger low-pressure systems, as we can see from the ECMWF there. It did produce some quite warm southwesterlies, but as you saw from the operational one, it was associated with that quite deep low, so it wouldn't be particularly great. But leading up to that, for the rest of August, we're average to below average, and the humidity temperatures associated with that are generally high teens, maybe touching 20 degrees, maybe getting into the mid-20s if we're lucky in the longer range into early September if those warmer runs come off. But as I said, it probably would be associated with stronger winds, heavy rain, and generally not particularly pleasant overall conditions. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this day. In those showers and storms over the next 24 hours or so, they shouldn't be too impactful, but they could be in a few isolated spots. And of course, we have to keep a very close eye on the longer range for the risk of some very strong low pressure systems moving in, especially if something like the GM came off. It would be a very early season storm. Autumnal storm, that is. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if that got named if that did move in. As I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.